Okay, I think we are just about at we're at 2:03, so we're going to go a minute early today. But we're glad you guys are here. I think there's a whole lot of folks registered for this, so hopefully they'll be coming in as time permits. And if not, if for any reason your folks want to see this, they can go on our YouTube channel when it's over, probably about in the morning, and they'll be able to download this and actually watch it in its entirety. So if you miss anything or your clinic misses it, don't panic. We'll get you squared away. And then as we go through today, if you have questions, because we have so much to cover, if they're not specifically related to these features, we'll have at the end of the presentation an email address. We'll tell you how to chat into our website. We'll get you trained, get our engineers with you, get you caught up. So if you don't hear it here, don't panic. We'll get you up to speed. So to kind of kick us off, we are going to talk about our no-touch toolkit. So we've all probably been on lots of calls, lots of webinars talking about this, reducing our touch points, going no touch, trying to automate functions and processes so that we are hopefully presenting less risk, but also less cleaning to do because there's less people in the rooms. So we've got some things for you today to really walk through a full no touch workflow where you can, beyond actually treating a patient, basically do everything else without touching them. So we're going to cover really from end to end our whole system and how it can work for you. So there'll be a lot to do with both the provider, the staff, and then how the patient interacts. So as we toggle back and forth, we'll make sure that you know if we're on the app or the control center or if we're in the patient portal, so you can kind of keep up with where we are as we go through. But the idea behind us doing this initially was, we know compliance is really critical, so we can't lose any steps. If anything, we're adding steps that you need now with COVID. So this no-touch workflow will help you do all of your consents, questionnaires, the things you have to do for charting, but hopefully in an efficient way without sacrificing your people's health or your patient's health, but also getting it done so you don't waste time doing it too. So many things. And just to give you the first glimpse of what we have, these are all the resources in your no-touch toolkit. So we've got several new things that we'll launch on this call. Many of these things you guys already know about, the telehealth portal. We're going to show you a few consents that are brand new that we've dropped in the portal for you. We'll show you a few new email templates. Our email has just got a glow up or a glam up as well. Some pre-screens of COVID, some different things on two-way text messaging, and also taking you through how the provider can do everything on his or her own without utilizing a front desk or a checkout person. So you can basically keep a one-to-one ratio between provider and patient. Then a couple of fun things at the end around smart dictation, some other things we've done to make charting a bit easier for you as well. I have a disclaimer on here. We're going to show you some consents that we've put in your portal for you on your behalf. These are sample templates. They're taken from some approved industry standard templates around consents. But please, before you use them, talk to your state, local government, your attorneys, and make sure that what we have on our templates is enough to cover you. They're just a best practice. They're by no means all 50 state compliant, all county compliant. So that's my disclaimer. They are just templates. But hopefully they're a really good start for you as you think about how you're going to do this in your own clinics. So we're going to kick it off with Victoria. And I'm going to let her cover this, and she's going to take us into the control center when she's finished.
Hey, everybody. So we're very, very excited about some of the additions that we have, for the no-touch toolkit. So a couple of things on this slide that you'll notice. We finally were able to release today the ability for consents to go to the patient portal prior to the appointment. So that is for both virtual and for in-person appointments. So very exciting. Your patient never actually has to touch your iPad now. So we're going to take you through how to actually build that inside of your aesthetic record account real quick. So I'm going to get my control center pulled up. All good, Tiffany? You can see? Okay. All right. So we are on the control center right now. And if you're new to aesthetic record, the control center is where you're doing a lot of your administrative settings and where you're kind of building, paperwork and things of that sort. But we are going to go to the appointments tab. We're clicking on that little settings widget. We're clicking on services. And let's go to our Botox appointment. And then what we're going to do next here is click on clinical resources. So on this section here, once you've added documentation into your account, consents, questionnaires, you can actually tie those directly into your services. So keep that in mind. That is for both virtual and for in-person. and then as well as those pre and post treatment instructions right here. So the biggest thing right now is make sure you come back into all of your services and edit them. So if you would like to add a COVID consent, or even just your general consents, please, take the time to add those in. And then once you start booking those appointments, that information will be sent to the patient portal. Right.
Perfect. I'm going to show you how that looks now if the patient receives those. So I've booked my appointment and I'm going to show you what it looks like for the patient. So let me share my screen.
We have a new alias today. So who are we using? Anastasia?
Anastasia Parker.
Anastasia.
So as Anastasia gets her appointment bookings, you guys can see here in the patient portal, all of her appointments. She has many of them. And as she's getting those, she's also getting into her portal any of her required actions. So she has questionnaires to fill out, and I've booked a lot for her today, so she has a lot to do. But she's also getting her consent. So if I click on one of these consents, let's say it's a COVID, well, we'll go to our Botox consent. Once I click on it, it looks like it would on the iPad, and she's able to just go to the bottom and do her signature as she always would. And as soon as she signs it, it ties it back to her appointment. So to Victoria's point, if you book her in, when you go to her procedure, connect the appointment to that procedure, because that appointment is what ties in all of her paperwork to that particular procedure. So just make sure you're connecting your appointment and your procedure so that you can get all your paperwork done. But it's very easy for the patient. She gets an email, which I'll show you in just a little bit, that tells her a new email to go through and fill all this stuff out. But in the patient portal, it's extremely easy for them to look at all the things they have due, fill them out, and get them sent back into you touch-free.
I love it.
Yeah, no touching. So let's see here. I'm going to go bring us back to the next piece of it. So our telehealth platform, take it away.
Yep. So in conjunction, which I'll flip back over to the control center here in just a moment, but in conjunction with building those services, as you guys have known, or as you know, during a lot of our webinar series, we've consistently talked about telehealth. So we're very, very excited to be able to offer a solution that streamlines, consultations and follow-ups, things of that sort. But inside of your account, what we'll take you through here in just a second is the ability to create almost like a prepayment. So if you are doing that virtual appointment, you could accept, maybe it's a $50 reservation fee, for example. And then I will also show you just kind of high level, how do you actually add that paperwork into a procedure so that you can review it and, get everything kind of where you need it before your patient comes in. So I'm going to take over that screen share again.
Okay.
All right, so we are back on the control center. So a few things here. I'm going to actually just search for my telehealth service here. So do keep in mind, if you have not added telehealth and you want to add it, you can use this create service button over to the right to get that added to your account. A few things here. So you'll notice that you'll want to choose the virtual option. And then we do recommend building like a virtual appointments category. And then the other thing is, if you previously created a virtual clinic, be sure to add your legitimate clinic that you're physically at as an option here. So that way, as you're setting up those provider hours, it's tied to this service. Once again, we have those documentation items. So consents are located right over here, and then we have those questionnaires. But down below here, you'll notice that that's where you can enter in your consultation fee, for example. So if it's $50 to book the appointment, the patient can actually enter their credit card information online and reserve their spot, for that appointment. You can also utilize the patient wallet. We'll talk about this a little bit more kind of later on, but if you'd like to store things in the patient wallet, so let's say that $50 goes towards a future visit, that would allow the patient to obviously have it stored in the wallet, and you can use it at a later time. So.
And do you have one booked currently as a provider?
Yes,
Perfect.
we do. Do we want to show that on the app?
Yeah, sure. While you're doing that, I can flip over to the patient portal. So
Perfect.
the good news about telehealth is it's extremely simple for the patient and for the provider. So if you are the patient, you receive obviously an email and a text message, but you also receive in the patient portal all your paperwork, your upcoming appointment cards, and you see I have join virtual. So my one virtual appointment in my portal is this one. If I were to click that, it takes me automatically into the patient portal. So that's into the telehealth portal. So it's one way to kind of skip through some of it. If I'm already here doing paperwork, I can just join from here or from my phone or from my email, because I'm going to get an invitation for both of those with a meeting link involved in each one. So for the patient, super easy, low key, no adding extensions and browsers and different things. It's just click and go. Then the provider can join either from the calendar that Victoria just showed or from their iPad. I think you're going to show us that right now, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. I'll take everybody through the iPad here in just a minute, but I want to show, because I know right now when we talk, a lot about telehealth and the visits, things of that sort, what we're most frequently seeing in today's state is actually adding that documentation. So those pre-signed consents, questionnaires into a procedure on the web. So we have some very, very exciting things coming in regards to making viewing some of that documentation a little easier. So you'll see some of that over the next few weeks, but in the state of the system today, if you create a procedure, so from the web platform, all you have to do is click that create procedure. Zoom is killing my Wi-Fi here, but we click that create procedure. And then at that point in time, you guys, if you have used a static record before, you'll recall the system will ask you to select an appointment time. So on your web and on your app, you'll be asked to do that. So you're basically just selecting that time. You're filling out the provider name, really all the information that the system asks you to fill out, you're filling it out. And then once you do that, you're just saving this. And once we save that, that's how we view all of the documentation that the patient filled out from the portal. So you'll notice here that if we wanted to view the consents, we could do so. And then if we would like to view any of those questions that are filled out from the questionnaire, we'll take a look at that real quick, maybe. Here we go. All right, so this is just, oh, here we go. It's our COVID pre-screen. So if this was completed from the portal, then you as the provider, you'd actually be able to view that before the patient comes in. So pretty easy.
And currently, just to kind of go back to that, in the current system today, we just launched the ability to send out cosmetic consents like an hour ago or 2 hours ago. So those are currently only able to be viewed, to Victoria's point, on the web, on the control center. They'll be in the app in the next 10 days or so, given Apple's timeline. But for the questionnaires, you can still see those like you always would on the provider app too. So your questionnaires don't change at all, but the cosmetic consents, you won't see those in the app as a signed document until the Apple build is done, but you can certainly see it here at any point on the control center. I know it's not ideal in the moment, but unfortunately the Apple store takes a minute to get things built. So it's a little bit extra time.
We're getting there though.
We're getting there.
So yeah, so just big takeaway from there, just make sure you're building that initial procedure from the web platform for about the next 10 days. And then once that additional app update is released, that's where you'll be able to tie that information from your iPad.
I think just to clarify, you can still do your procedure entirely from the app. Yep. You just can't see the consent. So if you want to still build it from your iPad, you still absolutely can. You just wouldn't be able to see the consent as done, virtually done, unless you were on the control center. So you can still do business as usual. Just know the consent signed stage is only going to be able to be seen on the control center. Right. And hopefully done way in advance now the patient gets it directly in their portal.
Right. All right, you want to take us to our PowerPoint? Our next
do
slide.
You want to show it all on the iPad where they click to join the meeting?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
If you're the provider.
Mm-hmm.
And we've shown this on several webinars. There's a telehealth webinar out there, I think a couple of them. So if you have any telehealth questions, certainly those exist now, but we can definitely help you get it set up very quickly too. And it's great for consultations and follow-ups. We're seeing that being used a lot to reduce people in the clinic for like free appointments. It's not a great idea right now with all the things we're having to do. So.
All right, can you see my iPad?
You sure can.
Perfect. All right, so you'll notice here that we have the join meeting button. So just to backtrack real quick on how I got there. So on your iPad, this is the provider app. So you just go to your app store, download the iPad, or download your iPad, you download the Aesthetic Record app. Click the three little icons in the top left corner. We're clicking on calendar. Once we get to calendar, you'll notice you have some filters over here on the right you can use to sort your appointments. And then if we click on that appointment time, you'll notice you as the provider can actually join the meeting from your iPad as well.
Yep. So if you are a control center lover, you can do iPad or control center. So you can do it either way.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Options.
We have some totally new stuff now that I am so excited to show you. So we're going to move to some brand new stuff. So as of today, you have new email options in your email communications. So you have to turn them on. I'll show you how, but you have a whole new look and feel, which is a little bit, dare I say, sexier, a little cleaner than it used to be, so that patients can quickly see appointment times, get to the dashboard, and just have some more information. So we have just general updates to emails, but we also have a brand new communication type called the COVID-19 email that can be sent within 24 hours before the appointment as an automated function. So it's going to go through a lot of the, like, where should they park? Should they text to come in the front door? What should they be wearing when they come in? Kind of all that stuff. So I'm going to show you where that's at in the portal and what it looks like. And while I'm also in there, I'm going to also show you the new COVID-19 consent template that's in there that you can use, and also the pre-screen questionnaire that you can use to make sure the temperature, all the things that we need to basically find out and chart are all on here for us. So we have brand new COVID email, and we also have a new, in your portal today, a consent and a questionnaire. And again, those are templates. They should be good to go, but I want you to make sure you're double checking before you take my word for it, because I am not an attorney and we do not give legal advice. That's static record. So I'm going to swap my share and take you to the portal. So are you in here? Can you see me?
We can see your aesthetic record account.
Perfect. Okay. So to the point where Victoria was earlier in the services, you're going to go there to build your new COVID-19 email. So your little settings gear here in the appointments tab. So again, we went to appointments, a little settings gear. We're going to go to our smart configuration. So if you haven't seen the calendar yet, it looks way different now, FYI, a little easier, click and book. So under our settings gear, we're going to go to communications, as you typically would for your emails. And we're going to go to our booking, because I want to show you that first. So if you look here, you see it looks much different. We have a nice little hyperlink. We've got some different words on here. It's all a template. So your snippets are the same. You can change up your words. And I'll give you an example of how that looks when it actually sends. But what we want to talk about is this COVID communication. So again, it has a lot of information in it. We have built for you a template based on what we think are the industry standards. Please change it, make it your own. But just to give you an idea of the flow, it goes through their appointment paperwork, which we just saw, the 24-hour questionnaire that they're going to get in their portal with a dashboard login to make it easy. We give you like a place to put in your instructions, to put in how you're helping the patient as far as your commitment to safety. And then just a reminder that if anyone in your household's had a fever, been diagnosed, all these things, to please reschedule. And then if you have a cancellation fee that you're actually using and you want to put it here, you can. However, I would think through how that will work in a post-COVID world if you're canceling appointments and charging for it and they have an actual concern about this, so they can't come in. So this is all going to go out within whatever timeline you set. So if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see a use template button. If you click that, what you see here will auto-populate for you. If you don't, you're going to custom build it yourself. So if you want to use what we've already put together for you as far as headers, click use template. Then you can actually set your days. So I can set here that I want to go before my appointment within 1 day, and I'm going to save it. So within 24 hours, it will send out to my patients this COVID communication. The key to that is to make sure at the top of your screen that you have turned it on and enabled it. Click save and you're good to go. So now any appointment that happens within 24 hours, they would get this email. And I'm going to show you what it looks like just so you can see it. So when the patient receives it, it has now your practice logo on it, all the details at the top for the appointment. And then of course, what we have in here for you now, overall verbiage, paperwork, 24 hours, click on the dashboard, instructions. So you see it's a really nice, like lengthy email, but it has all of your COVID concerns done for you. And then for the patient email, I will show you that too. how it looks. For the actual, just you've booked an appointment, we can't wait to see an email, similar idea. Again, another patient login, so they can go directly to the portal and get their paperwork done. Same thing here, you can change it, modify it, however you want to do it, and the snippets are there. And whatever your practice logo is will show up here at the top. So it's a little bit different look than it used to be, a little bit a glam, if you will, glam up.
It's beautiful.
Thanks, we worked hard on those. Then the other part of that, so that's your actual booking email going out. That's going to, again, be in addition to your appointment booked email. So that may go out today, and then the appointment's next week. So the day before that happens, this one goes out saying COVID communication, so within 24 hours. Then the other part that you have in your portal today, I'm going to go to my settings widget at the top, and I'm going to go to my documentation. And you have available right now, if you want to use it, if you choose to use it, you have a COVID-19 questionnaire that we put in your portal for you with some different things around temperature. This is built off of like the CDC recommendations. Certainly change these, delete these, however you want to do it. It's all there for you. And then we also put in for you a new COVID consent. So let me get out of this. My email's really slow too. There's also now a new telehealth consent in here for you and a new COVID consent. And it walks through all the pieces of what we've seen from ASAPs and what we've seen from AMSPA and ISPAN, all these different groups with all their different consents. So it's a really nice kind of combination of different things. So that's in there for you today. And again, you just attach those consents to your existing services and they'll go out automatically. But the email that says, don't forget to do your COVID information before you come in is a 24-hour window before the appointment. Or you could set it for 2 days or 3 days, but ideally 24 hours because of the whole fever concerns. So we've had we do have a question.
I was just about to say we've got maybe two.
So
if a guest books the appointment on the same day, how do we send that email, the COVID email out?
It's done within 24 hours. Yep, so it'll be done immediately. If we're within the 24-hour window, when they book, it'll go automatically, like kind of a bam, bam.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna switch back over to our lovely PowerPoint deck. We have more things to show, lots more things. So we've covered the documentation that you have available. We've covered the new email, but don't forget in the email, go in and use the template if you want it. If you want the new pretty emails, use the template and enable it and pick your day however many days out you want that to be sent to the patient. Mm-hmm. Okay. Is this me again? This is me again.
You again, you're on a roll.
I have to tell you that Kyle Farr said car to clinic on a webinar last week, and I literally pirated that thing from him because it sounds so good. So Kyle Farr, if you're watching somewhere, thank you. I stole this from you. Thank goodness you didn't trademark it. So we have the ability in our system to do two-way text messaging. So as you guys know with patients, when they get a booking reminder or a booking confirmation text that goes to their phone, they can respond back to that text and you actually get that text in your AR portal. So if you're looking at doing, go to the parking lot, hang out, let us know when you're here. We'll tell you when to come in, like when to actually walk in the front door. That whole car to clinic can all be done within the AR system. So there's no need to have to call, use a personal cell phone, text, which could be a HIPAA compliance issue. It can all be done within the AR portal. The one caveat is you need to have the accelerator plan for that to work because you have a specific phone number that's just your account that allows your messages to go back and forth. So just think through that as the accelerator plan. You get a lot of other features too, but for sure the inbox is tied to that directly. And again, put those instructions for this particular part of it in your COVID email communication, which I've put in the template for you now if you want to use our template. But I'm going to show you what it looks like while Victoria answers the questions that we have coming up. Do you see any questions?
It would help if I would unmute. Here we go.
There you go.
There we go. So we had a quick question. So if the appointment is 2 weeks out, as far as the COVID questionnaire goes, so Melissa, to answer your question, basically you would still want to tie that COVID consent and COVID questionnaire to the appointment, and you would want the patient to fill that out prior to coming in. With those COVID instructions, it does, Tiffany, correct me if I'm wrong, but it does ask the patient to fill the COVID questionnaire out 24 hours prior to coming in.
Yes.
So that verbiage is listed in there for you. And
then put a reminder of that verbiage in your general booking link or your general booking email to say you're going to get an email 1 day prior with information regarding COVID. Fill out your COVID questionnaire and consent within 1 day prior to your appointment. So you might put a little reminder snippet in there of some sort on your actual booking email that you normally would use.
Mm-hmm. And then we had another quick question just about kind of editing the COVID email. So Robin, to answer your question, she's just asking about editing the COVID template and maybe potentially pushing the patient portal dashboard button towards the bottom of the email. So you can do that completely. You'll be able to drag and drop and edit that to kind of fit exactly what you're looking for, Robin.
Yeah, and Robin, now just for your reference, there is an easy text editor we haven't had before that allows you to do bullet points and bolds and italics and all kinds of fun things. So if you're in here and you wanted to do your own, if you enable our template, you'll see it here. If you don't, you'll see it here. You just happen to have things already in there if you enable the template that we have. But if you want to use your own template and do it yourself, it's totally fine for you to do. Your choice. But you can do all of it through here with the bold, italics, etc.
No, I'm so excited about the editor.
I know.
It's the little things in life that matter, you know. Let's see. And then Tiffany, maybe you know the answer to this. Is that COVID communication tab live for everyone?
It is live right now.
It is live. Okay. So live. Judy, if you log into your account, you should see that COVID communication section.
Yep. Just go to your smart configuration wizard and you'll see COVID communication under the communication headline.
Mm-hmm. So Tiffany, I'm going to let you get back to it real quick. Yeah. You can go through our two-way texting.
So yeah, we had a patient earlier today, Josh Smith, who was using our car to clinic workflow. So what Josh did is he got to our parking lot and he said, I'm in the parking lot, and I sent it back to him. Great. Come to the door at 9:15. That allows us to get you in for your appointment. Have paperwork completed when you come in the front door. So this is a communication between Josh and I going back and forth. You have a little inbox button up here. And as you get inbox messages in, you get a little, like a notification badge, like on your iPad or on your iPhone. It has like a little red dot here. So if you're watching this throughout the day, you can be texting to patients in and out as they're coming in. When they arrive, they text you, you text back. It's easy to kind of control that here within the actual system. So again, no personal cell phones needed, no emails, no beating on the front door, all that stuff. It's all done with you through here on the inbox.
Mm-hmm. So Jamie, that kind of leads into your question. So that SMS number, you choose an SMS number through Aesthetic Record, and then that connects directly to your Aesthetic Record web account as of today. So everything is basically stored inside of your secure platform.
Yep, and when you go to actually do the accelerator plan and you go into set up your inbox, it'll prompt you to set up your Twilio number, and it'll walk you through a workflow to get that number done for you so you can do the two-way text messaging.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Let's see where we are on my sharing to keep on trucking forward, because we got a lot more to go. All righty. Next thing up, this is you, Victoria.
Okay, let's see what I'm talking about now. Okay, so end-to-end provider workflow. So, you know, as we've kind of shown you guys all of the touchless features that you can start to capitalize on in the system, what we're going to go through now is, let's say that I am a provider and I want to check my patient in and I want to check, you know, do they have any rewards? I'm going to start the procedure document, and then I can even check the patient out without touching their credit card. So I am going to get the iPad up. Maybe, we'll see. All right. Tiffany, can you see the iPad? All right, awesome.
Sure can.
Perfect. All right, so as that reminder, you know, when we first log into the Aesthetic Record iPad, you're clicking those three little lines in the top corner. That'll take you to your schedule for the day. So let's say that our client, Josh Smith, is arriving for his appointment. We can check the patient in right up here if we click option. We'll do patient check-in. So a few things from this screen. In one of our previous webinars, we talked about the Aspire integration and how that streamlines the sign-up process for you and your patients. So you'll notice here that this will kind of flag us that, hey, Josh is not a member. Let's get him signed up today. So if we wanted to actually click that, I'll actually just click it real quick. So it'll just ask us to fill out the rest of his information from this screen. Once we do that, it's going to automatically then place him into the Aspire Rewards program. The other nice, feature with this is that it's actually going to list out the amount of rewards that a patient had. So let's say that I had 1,200 Aspire rewards in my wallet. That would be listed right up here. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually complete the check-in. So maybe I'm taking this patient to room 3 and the client has 2 kids. That'll be our note. So we're going to complete the check-in now. So we've checked that patient in successfully. So what you can do, being the provider next, is you can go to View Timeline. And this is where we actually begin the procedure process. So I'm just going to run through these screens real quick here. So we're basically just choosing that body part. We're verifying our information. This is the important part, is choosing that appointment time. So just make sure you're selecting that if the patient did complete stuff through the portal. So that'll pull that documentation through so that you can review it. All right, so we would do our photos. I'm going to just use the template for right now.
If you guys haven't seen, we have the ability to select all 3 pictures at once. So there's no need to keep going back into the portal. You just take all 3, bam, 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 and they upload. So it's another efficiency piece in there for you now.
Alrighty, so we'll pretend that we've got Josh's photos here. And at this point, we can choose our product and we're just kind of documenting. Like I said, this is just a high level overview of what that looks like. In most cases, you would have a legitimate picture of your patient. So you're, real-time documentation. But a few things, so we're gonna go ahead and actually save that procedure. And if we click the credit card up at the top, we can go ahead and add any additional items into the cart. You're just clicking on the items and then they'll be added into the cart. So let's say that we were just doing 10 units of Botox today. If we click the checkout icon, you'll notice here I can select the card option, and then all you have to do at this point in time is just type in the card numbers. Tiphany will show us another screen too where you can actually store that information initially. And then keep in mind, this might be a really nice feature to start incorporating, but you can actually save that card to the patient's profile. So definitely something to think about as, you're reviewing all of your touchless protocols.
Yeah. And then if the patient has things in their wallet, Victoria, we can just go to the wallet and pull those out too. So if I wanted to call in and prepay over the phone, to your point about the $50 consultation fee, I just store it in the wallet and I can just do nothing. And you just take the money out of my wallet and put it to my invoice, correct?
Yep. Yeah, so we'll pretend that we'll redeem that. We'll pretend the Aspire was a $20 prepayment. So we could take that $20 prepayment, add it to the cart, and then we can finalize that checkout. And that will pull that $20 out of the wallet completely. So that kind of automates things for you.
And I'm going to show you one more piece. Are you done? You good?
I'm good.
Okay, I'm going to show you one more option that you could do. So our friend Anastasia is back. So she has either booked an appointment online, and when she booked online, she clicked to save her card. Maybe she's a member and her card's on file for her membership plan or whatever that is. Or she just called in and gave it to us, or she gave it to us right now. I've actually stored a card to her profile. So this is stored not in AR, it's stored via PCI compliant token in the cloud with Stripe, but her card is now on file here. So she never has to actually swipe it ever again. She can do it all through this particular portal. And again, no touch. And so she gets an invoice receipt upon paying for it. And then if we've used her wallet money in the patient portal, she can see her wallet activity coming in and out too. So she'd be able to see if she has things that have been removed or not. So you've got a couple options at the time of online booking with cancellation fee. You can save your credit card. You can do it here. You can manually key it in at the point of sale. Or if you want the patient to swipe it, you can certainly do that too. I bought these amazing little finger cots all around my house I've been practicing with that allow you to sign the iPad, do the whole thing. But if you want to be truly no touch, you can absolutely do that too. And then we had a question just really quickly about the the lag time. If you sign up for the accelerator plan, it's automatic. There's no lag time to get things set up. You'll refresh your screen, maybe log in, log out, and you'll be good to go. And then yes, Diane Allen, you have to still go to Aspire and enter treatments. It's not integrated yet. Hopefully that's coming, but that's an Aspire thing. And then they can leave their card information on file and booking only if there's a cancellation fee or consultation fee. Otherwise it has to be done in the portal because there's no other reason to take their card. And then the patient portal video, now there's a link that says activate. When they come in, they'll see it. It's very simple. It's like, here's your appointment. Here's what you have to do. Click to join meetings. So the patient portal is actually really simple to use. But we can certainly give you a video. We can do that for you and offer you guys a video of how to work it.
We
Easy.
have it in our plans this week, Courtney. So we'll let everybody know once we get that. It'll be live on our YouTube page.
We will get you going. Don't you worry. All righty. So I'm going to go back to my screen. Which you could even embed that little video on your practice page or even in your email as a link if you wanted to. Okay, so we've talked about this quite a bit. They can also join the membership program from the patient portal too. So if someone wants to become a member, that can all be done touchless as well. And they now have to actually sign an agreement for that. So there's a signature on file, which is good. But I would let you know that if you're going to do no touch payments, make sure that you document your procedures with pictures, with documentation, with charts, so that the patient ever says, I never came in. I didn't sign for that. You have their pictures and their chart of, yes, they were actually there, received the service, and had it done. So just a good best practice with your credit card company. So I was so thirsty. All righty, I'm going to run through this electronic prescriptions really quickly. So you guys may have seen this in a recent webinar. We now have the ability to do an electronic prescription. So it's not a full e-prescribe. There's no back-end database and pharmacy calls and all that. That is coming. But for now, the first step would be to go into your teammate profile as a user and ensure that you have your license numbers all updated and that you have a signature on file. And then obviously you're going to want to get from your patient their pharmacy of choice, any information around that pharmacy, email or fax, to be able to send that out. I'm going to show you what that looks like really quickly here and go into the portal. So if we are here, the first thing I would say to do is go into your section under your teammates and go under users and make sure if you're going to be a prescriber, if you're a prescriptive person, that under your name, let me find Margot, you have at the very bottom, you'll see if you scroll all the way down, you have a listing for your NPI number, your state license number, DEA number, and if you have a Medicaid number. Make sure that's in here, because without that, you can't prescribe. So make sure you go in here and get that done quickly if you're going to start prescribing. And then I have a patient that we're using that I can show you how that looks. And so when you think about the e-prescribe, one of those kind of nuanced things right now is it's only available from the health timeline. So you can't do it from the cosmetic timeline, but basically all you have to do is just toggle to a different button. So I'm going to show you on Tyler Thomas's profile here. I just did a prescription for him. So if I'm in my health timeline, again, you see a quick toggle between health and cosmetic, no big deal there. We did a virtual consultation. We had an acne consult, and I think he needs to have Accutane. So I can go in here and do the prescription. And if I'm using a pharmacy, maybe I'm in a small town, there's only a few pharmacies, I may have this thing already auto-populated for me. But you'll see here, I've got a pharmacy already done. These are all drop downs you can choose, but it will auto-populate for you all of the patient's information if it's filled out. This all comes over directly from his chart. I go in and fill out his actual prescription information here. And then my information as a prescriber is also all already done here based on my teammate section, as is my signature here at the bottom. So that also helps me to make sure the pharmacy pushes that prescription through. And then I can either preview it, download it, so I can print it and give it to our patient who's in the clinic, or I can email it to the pharmacy or fax it, or I can actually go through and if I wanted to make changes, I can go in here and edit all these fields because he decided he doesn't really like to go to Walgreens. He wants to go instead to a different CVS. And that's again, all in the patient health timeline where you can do all your prescriptions and things from that area. All right, let me get my little X to work here. I'm on the struggle bus with my Zoom right now. So while I'm already in this portal, let me give you one more fun thing that you can do with our new smart dictation tool. I think that's next on the list. So those of you who have been asking for dictation, it is here. So if you're using your dictation on your iPad to talk or on your phone, I've got one better for you. when you create a procedure in the health timeline today, you can do a start dictation and it'll do all of your notes for you. And the beauty of doing it here is that we'll be adding very soon like an Amazon function that allows your dictation to start to branch out things like a diagnosis code, a chief complaint. This dictation will take your dictated note and create, in a sense, a medical chart out of it. Think about like a super bill kind of in a sense. So if you want to use your phone for ease of use, I would urge you to use this instead so that we can take advantage of the AI component of making a smart chart based on dictation. That'll be live soon in your provider app side, but for now it's only in the web portal, which is great for telehealth medical visits or any kind of a wellness visit where you can actually use your computer. Or on your iPad, just toggle to the browser. You can do it there too. All righty. Let's see, what do we have next? I didn't show you one important piece. Hold on a minute. We have another fun thing that I think you guys might want to see around allergies. We get a lot of questions about showing allergies in our system. So I'm going to show you for this patient. We do have one new efficiency measure for patient allergies and patient medical history that if you were to be in this particular system here, you guys know how to do a dot phrase where you hit your dot. And let's say I'm going to do my pre-screen for COVID. We have some notes in our system. They're in negative, so he can actually be treated. He has a 98.5 fever or temperature. He's good to go. But I want to put in now if he has allergies or anything else going on. I can do an @call function. Maybe.
I bet we don't have, I was going to say, I bet we don't have his allergy form filled out.
Probably have nothing filled out for him. If I was in Anastasia,
that's why
I could do it. So if you hit the @call button.
The key there is to fill out your medical history forms and then everything will work.
But you see here at the bottom where it says, I don't know if you can see right here, if they have history in their profile, if you hit the type in @call, it gives you a drop down of every option from the medical history form that you could actually tie to his chart. So if it's like he's got food allergies or drug allergies or prior surgeries, you just click on that button and that entire history piece just populates in the chart automatically. So now you can bring all that stuff over instantly without having to think about like, what is it again, and retyping it and all that kind of stuff. So that's all in here for you. And then to the same token about your information as a provider, for the patient, you can put in all their information and all of their insurance information also on their end. So if you are doing a prescription for him or for her, in this case, it can all be attached to the prescription form as it goes to the pharmacy. So if they have like an insurance prescription plan, that can all be attached in their basic patient portal or basic patient profile, and then attached to any e-prescription that goes out from this point forward. So it's all kind of there for you. All righty. I'm rushing because I have a corn talk with Evelyn in 1 minute. So I apologize for that. Let me get back to our little PowerPoint deck. All righty. Can we see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. And a few quick things to note. We now have a favorites option for questionnaire. So if you have your favorites that you like to always use, you can now sign multiple consents. So if the patients are using a finger cot or a stylus pen, you can do multiple consents at once. You just click sign, like sign multiple, and you can do it. And there's also the ability Victoria showed us to click on multiple pictures at once and just do a sequential bam, bam, bam versus going back into the portal and taking pictures each time. So that's all there for you too. All right. So someone asked about the consents and about the signatures. If you have built a consent, it's already all done for you. Just attach the consent to the service. So you don't have to do anything additional for the patient portal. Just attach that consent to your service. And then any other questions that we have on any of that? I don't think we do, but
I don't see any.
I'm going to turn this, Victoria, over to you so that I can hop off really quick. Well, we can probably,
okay.
I've got time to finish up. Go for it.
We can finish. So just a few things to kind of keep in mind. So key features today that we've gone over, all of the COVID stuff. So if you think about making sure all of the email communications that are sent out to your patients, make sure all of that is, ready to go and activated in your account. Also changing service time. So we talked about this, last week. with a couple of the speakers we had on the webinars, but think about how long it's going to take you to sanitize a room, if you are doing any of those in-person appointments. And then when we think about virtual appointments, also start to think about how you can use that in your practice. So if you can do follow-ups and virtual consultations that way, definitely take advantage of it. The other thing is, on our new calendar, we have out of office time blocks. So we do have a video on YouTube that you can take a look at. We show you how to build all of the blocks. So if you want to do a lunch or an out of office or a cleaning schedule, you can take advantage of that.
Perfect. And if you're doing reporting like AOV or income per provider per appointment, that's the good news, is now there's no longer a lunch patient or a break patient or a Christmas break patient. There's an actual out of office that won't count against their productivity measures on their booking percentages or on their selling percentages. So that's all kind of worked out there for you too. And then let's see, we've got one more question. Victoria, you probably know the answer to this. When they reschedule, does that tie it back to the original appointment?
It should, yes. So as long as the paperwork that they filled out is tied to that appointment, when you reschedule it, it should all still be connected.
Just wanted to make sure. All right. Well, I'm sorry that we're rushing through this, but there's so much to cover. You have our information here. If you guys use any of this or you're doing some no-touch toolkits in your office, we'd love for you to tag us. We'll share what you're doing, give you a shout out on our Instagram stories or on our Instagram feed. So let us know. We've got some hashtags for you there. We'd love to see all you're doing. So we're kind of collecting how this is going to work and the protocols, so we can keep changing features and making better improvements to what we have to offer for you. So again, get your COVID email done, get that enabled, get your COVID consent, telehealth consents done. You have a lot of telehealth options, a lot of virtual payment options. You've got some schedule changes to possibly make, and learn to do all of it a 1-to-1 ratio if you can. So there's all the check-in and payments are all done with one person. And then use your inbox and do your text messaging. The Car to Clinic workflow, I think, is going to be a game changer for us. So try that too. And if you need us, email us, chat us, DM us. We will get back to you as soon as we possibly can. I'm going to jump off. Victoria, if you have any more questions with these guys, I'm going to hop off of here and have a great day, guys. I'm going to go to my corn talks.
Have fun. Thanks. I was just going to say, if anyone has any other, last minute questions, definitely feel free to use the chat or the Q&A box, and I would be happy to answer any of those questions for you. If not, we will post this video on YouTube. So if you missed any, part of the video, or if you'd like to share with any of your, friends in the industry, feel free to. All of our webinars are on the YouTube channel as well, so definitely feel free to check those out. But we will see everyone tomorrow. We're doing more with the No Touch campaign with Aesthetic Record tomorrow, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So we hope to see everybody there. Thanks. Have an awesome Thursday.